Billy had to work his way out of some jams. Those first two innings, bases loaded, and they nicked him for a run in each inning. Stuff was good, wasn't real sharp, but battled and made some pitches to minimize the damage. And again, had to work his way out of a little spot in the sixth as well. Minimize that too. I mean, one big hit, they could have broke it open, but they didn't. So he gave us a chance, through 6 innings. Not real sharp. There was a couple innings there that threw the ball really well and made his pitches, but their guy was pretty good. I think that was the key. Their guy, we just couldn't really solve the sinker and the curveball combo. He had a lot of movement. Morton, has that in his game. The big fastball sinker with movement. It's tough to square up. He gets it in on the righties. He brings it back over the outside corner against the righty. Good sinker against the lefty down the way. Can spot it in, mixes in the curve. So he was on tonight. We just couldn't solve him.
But he surprised you at all for a guy making just a second start?
No, I mean he's been pitching. Bernie, he's been pitching wherever the Pirates organization is having pitching. So he was, obviously he was ready to pitch.
Buddy, in terms of looking at Tyson's body of work so far, I think it's something like 11 starts, and maybe it's unfair to compare it to the dynamic season he had last year.
Right.
But as you look at his performance this year against last year, at times it doesn't look dramatically different at all, and sometimes it does look not quite as sharp as last year. How would you sort of assess where he's at?
Well, again, you're right. I think that there's been a little bit of inconsistency from inning to inning. I think you have seen stretches during the course of a game where you've seen flashes of last year's performances. I think this year there's been probably not the consistent number of innings strung together like we saw last year. I think that's probably the big thing. I think the stuff is the same. The contact rate. The thing is, the walks might be a little high, but he just hasn't put together the number of innings throughout the course of a game that we saw maybe last year up to this point. Now there's still a third of the season, 2/3 left. I mean, we're not even halfway. There's still close to 20-something or more starts for Tyson moving forward. So hopefully that that will show up. And if it does, you're going to see a lot of wins and a lot of low-run games against Tyson. But that's probably the thing that has stood out for me is that innings like the first couple, when he was really rolling last year, I think there was 17 or 18 consecutive starts where he gave up less than like two earned runs or less, something crazy like that. We just haven't seen that consistency yet. But again, we're still, we're right at the start of June. Still so much baseball left.
Nonetheless, did you like the way he wiggled out?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think that his experience now. He's been here for a couple years. It's showing up a little bit and maneuvering out of some innings and working his way through some jams, and that's good to see. What we gotta make sure of that he doesn't get in those jams.
Tony Watson's really been a weapon for them. You
Yep.
saw tonight. How much consideration did you give to letting Venable hit against him? I think his numbers are actually better against righties and lefties.
Well, I think any time that he comes in a game, it's a great challenge, for any hitter. I think with thinking there, Dennis, was Jed against Watson. Good matchup. Jed had some career numbers against Watson. I think a homer against him. We were hoping to get Barmas on or Almonte for Jerko. So nothing against Will. You know how I think of what I think of Will. Watson's tough on both. Career-wise, it's an even split. It's an even split. I know it's a tough at-bat for either. But we felt as though Jed was the better matchup there.